Dobrý večer, Spolek. Tahle ta dnešní konverzace nebude v češtině, ale bude v angličtině, takže já hnedka přepnu, abych zbytečně nezdržoval. So, hello everyone. This conversation will be not in Czech. It will be in English. And it is 2:30 in the morning here in Olomouc in the Czech Republic. And my partner in crime is sitting across the Atlantic Ocean, and it's 5:30 in the afternoon at his place. So, and as you may notice, there are some guitars behind me, and apart from my usual shirt, I also bring a musician's t-shirt. And my today's partner in crime is no other than Mr. Billy Sheehan. Hello, Billy.
Thanks for having me on. I have a lot of great friends in the Czech Republic. We played there many times, and I hope some of them are watching.
Okay, we'll see about that, hopefully. Billy, I do not have any conversation questions prepared. However, the first question is the same for all of my conversation partners. So
Okay.
here it is. Just imagine that a person meets you in the street and asks you, "What do you do for a living?" What will you be able to tell that person?
I'm a working musician. I'm not a rock star. I work for a living, and I work hard, and music is my profession and my life, and that's what I've done for over half a century.
Mm-hmm. What are your instruments? We can see a couple of those, but what?
Yeah, it's mostly bass, but I play guitar also. I can get by on drums. I can fake a little harmonica. I can figure keyboards out a little bit. I can get a sound out of a flute or saxophone or a trumpet.
Mm.
It's a if anyone that's tried that doesn't know, I know that's kind of tricky. But I also sing and I write a lot of music. I write a lot of songs and a lot of music. So I do, and most all of my life is taken up by music. I don't really have any hobbies or things I do outside of music. Very, very little.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do from when I wake up. I come down here to my little man cave. I pick up my bass and I start working. A couple hours, feed the cats, and then get to work on usually recording here in my studio. So that's some of the things I do.
Mm-hmm. Why bass? It was
Well,
all your life your primary instrument.
yeah, it wasn't the first instrument I tried. The first instrument I tried was drums. And then my sister got an acoustic guitar, and I would sneak into her room and take it and play bass lines on the lower four strings. And then a guy around the corner from me where I lived, there was a time in the 60s when everybody was in a band and music was everything to everybody. And at school, you were grouped by what bands you were into. It was all about music and all about bands. And his name was Joe, and he let me pick up his bass and hold it, and it was amazing. Joe was a cool guy. I wanted to be like him, so I thought I'll be a bass player. Not realizing, of course, that guitar and vocals are the glory instruments. Bass players and drummers, we got to work. We work and sweat, but it's okay now. I still like it anyway. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Mm-hmm. So you see Rush is my primary band. You jammed in the 90s. I saw or heard some kind of recording that you jammed with Alex Lifeson and Neil Peart back then. Are you aware of that band? Do you know each other, or are you somehow
Yeah.
in touch? Or yeah, because you are similarly aged, right?
Yeah, that. And they were from Toronto. I was from Buffalo, very close together. Uh, and we toured, we did two tours with them with Mr. Big. We did the entire Presto tour and about half of the Roll of Bones tour. So we saw them every day for months and months and months of time. And they're the finest, nicest, most wonderful people you could imagine. Plus, they sound great. And it's an honor to know them. They're wonderful people.
So we are talking about 1992, somehow like that,
Yeah,
something like.
whenever the just Google Rush Roll the Bones tour, and
Yeah,
that'll
yeah,
tell you,
yeah, yeah.
and and the Presto tour as well. So I don't
Hmm.
recall the years off the top of my head, but I know it's written down somewhere.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, that was a great opportunity. And at the end of the show, they would bring us up on stage, and we'd play "In the Mood." I'd sing with Getty. Me and Pat Torpy would sing with Getty on the mic, and Paul would play guitar with Alex, and we had they were so great to us. They're so wonderful, very nice to us. There was a huge help to our career to open for Rush, so we're very thankful.
Hmm. Hmm. Because they were established band back then, even back then, and you as Mr. Big started in 1988.
Yep.
Hmm. You and Geddy and Flea maybe from Red Hot Chili Peppers are the top three bass players, at least for me, for my heart. Um,
Well, thank you very much for including me.
uh, who are your bass influences, or who were your bass influences when you started playing bass?
Oh, there's a huge long list, and it gets longer every day. But at the beginning, of course, the Beatles. I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan on the TV show in America the first time they played, and the next day, everybody wanted to be in a band. So Paul McCartney, of course, and then uh, another band called the Yardbirds, which was a British band that at one point or another had Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, and Jimmy Page as guitar players, but their bass player was Paul Samuel Smith, and he was a huge influence on me. Then the Vanilla Fudge with Tim Bogert, great bass player. I love that band. Their drummer Carmine Appice, I just did some tracks with him, and Eric Gales, great blues guitar player. I've done a lot of recording for Carmine from the Vanilla Fudge as well. Tim passed away a few years ago, but I was a friend of his as well, and it's a great honor. And then everybody, and not only bass players, pianists, cello, violin, stand-up bass, sax players, guitar players, you name it. Any musician on any instrument has been an influence on me. But the early years were all the greats: Jack Bruce, John Entwistle, Chris Squire, uh, all those guys. I keep leaving out Jack Cassidy from the
Hmm.
Jefferson Airplane, great player as well, and Mel Shacker from Grand Funk, and it's just I could go on for hours and say, but primarily I started because of my neighbor and Paul McCartney, and then Tim Bogert is probably my biggest single influence.
In your bass licks, I am able to somehow get a notion that you may be also influenced by John Entwistle, probably from The Who, if because
Um,
I think that John Entwistle.
oh, very much, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, because.
we were friends when I lived in LA when he was alive, and we would go out to the same club often. So one night it was me, John Entwistle, Chris Squire sitting together, and we having a fun time and having some drinks. And then Lemmy from Motorhead joined us, so all four of us were together at the same table. We had a wonderful time. Great people, great players. Entwistle, tone, that
Hmm.
grinding, overloaded tone is so great. He was a wonderful guy.
Hmm. In terms of tonality and sound, I think that you are pretty much very similar from my ear, at least.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I loved his tone, and I began to create my own thing tone-wise, but it was always to get a tone that was similar to John Entwistle or Tim Bogert or even Chris Squire. He had a nice grinding. You could hear the amp distort a little bit, and for
Mm.
me that was cool. Later on in the '70s, a lot of bass players would plug in direct. It was super clean, and for me, it just was kind of soulless and lifeless. It's like playing an electric guitar through your home stereo. It's just not the same as an amp where you can have the amp be part of the sound. So yeah, John Entwistle was a champion of an incredible bass song.
Mm. Um, some people may call you a bass shredder. Um, if you play some bass lick, and that fast as you are able to do that, how many notes ahead you have to think?
I don't think when I play. It's important to not be thinking. It should be like as I'm speaking to you now, I'm not thinking about what I'm going to say. It's not written down anywhere. I didn't think in my head earlier, I should say this, or maybe I should say that. It just should come naturally. So, yeah, sometimes it gets speedy. But the biggest song I was ever on was To Be With You, a very, very simple song. Easy bass, very McCartney. There's one bass
Mm.
line in that song that I took right from Paul McCartney. Uh, and so yeah, sometimes I get speedy and a lot of notes, but it's just another color that you paint with. Sometimes you get an emotion by playing slow, easy notes, a different emotion playing faster notes, higher, lower, in the middle, chords, different intervals, different things. Music creates every emotion any human could experience and probably even more. So, being a fast player, or as some people call shredder, that's just part of the. It's just one of the things you use to create music. It's not, and guys that don't ever play fast, I love their playing. Uh, Cliff Williams from AC/DC, I love his playing. Judas Priest, bass player, fantastic player. Really, I love their playing. They're not flying all over the place, but they don't need to. They're just great, and they play the right thing at the right time in an amazing song in an incredible band. So they don't need to play fast. So it's just a tool you use when you need it.
Mhm. So you maybe have just answered also my next question, dealing with the bass solos. So you just it's just improvisation when you do the bass solo. It's not practiced.
Yeah, I never know what I'm going to do. I just start out and see what happens. And I like it that way too because it's I see guys that have formulated solos and they don't seem to flow because every night is different. Every crowd is different. Every person in the crowd is different from everyone else. So, it's good to just pick up on what you feel when you're on the stage. And the bass solos are never necessarily they started because we played back in my old band Talus. We played the song by Free called "Mr. Big," and it had a bass solo in it. And so when the bass solo came, I played the solo. And one night I just said, "Hey, you guys, when the bass solo comes, just stop playing, and I'll do some crazy thing." And I did, and it was a turning point because people liked it, and then people said, "We got to do the bass solo again. We're going to do the bass solo, right?" So I was kind of almost forced into doing a bass solo. So as a result, I really wanted to do good ones, and I had a thing I said many years ago. It's still true. I hope I can play for a 20 or 30-minute bass solo, but not have anybody be bored. And that's an important thing. Have it be interesting the whole time. Because I could probably play a 24-hour bass solo, but there'd be a lot of people sleeping. so, so we try to make it interesting and enjoyable. It also became a thing in the band at the time because when I played the bass solo, those guys could take a break, go over and talk to girls, get a drink, whatever. So they're always, yeah, do another bass solo, keep going, So it was kind of a comedy aspect of it, but it was a good thing because it's every night you're under pressure to do your absolute best and pull off a solo that really hits people. So I'm very conscious of how good I have to have it. It has to be really good. Sometimes I blow it completely in my mind and I'm not happy with it. Rarely am I really, really happy with it. There's always something about it because I'm very self-critical. There's always something about it I would like to change. But it's a challenge every night. I gotta, okay, go. Think of something. It's funny.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Tellus, your first band. By the way, your last album, your last recording with Tellus a couple of years ago is brilliant.
Yes.
Um, I'm glad that you were able to do that. And speaking of Tellus, I've got a question about one of your songs, or two, maybe two songs, but one from Tellus, the song "Shy Boy."
Yep.
Um, um, I mentioned I somehow saw that you do not sing the second verse. You are not able to sing it with playing the bass, or why are you not singing the second verse right now?
Well, because the singer is up there standing there doing nothing. So I started out and let him take the second verse. I've sang it I sang it with Steve Vai where we did the uh, second verse. I've done it many times, but just sometimes there's a singer in the band and he's standing there while I'm singing. Take the second verse,
Ah, I
simple as that.
see. Uh-huh, I see. I see. Um, Fine. And now I got a question about the brother, daddy, lover, and little boy. Whose
Yep, that's
idea
Mr. Big.
was, yes, whose idea was to use electric drills?
That was Paul. He did it in his band before Mr. Big, and we did it as comedy. It was meant to be funny and just a joke, because people say, we're playing so fast. Well, the only way you can play faster is put pricks on the end of a drill, and
Yeah.
it turns out Paul is faster than that too. But we just did it as a joke for fun. Played a little harmony. Uh, and That was that. The Makita Power Tool Company found out about it though, and then our brilliant manager Herbie Herbert, he got in touch with them, and they ended up sponsoring the band, and we all got free drills.
Good for
It
you.
was very nice.
By the way, in which songs do you use double neck?
Which song do I what?
In which songs do you use double neck bass guitar?
Oh, double neck bass. Yeah, I use that bass for always a very legitimate reason. But commenters online have lost their mind about it. I don't know what the problem is.
But that must be heavy. How many pounds does it weigh?
I never waited, but I can play it for
Ah,
2 hours. I've done 2 hour shows with it, no problem.
oh my.
It's very well balanced. It's very nice. It's in the other room right now. But it's for Mr. Big, the last tour, we had to switch tunings a lot because everybody's voice isn't the same,
Yeah,
so we had
yeah.
to drop some. So some songs I had to go down to a tuning lower than a standard bass, which was the low B
Hmm.
on the other neck. It's tuned B E A D, and the regular neck is tuned standard E A D G. So we had to stop the show, walk off the stage, get another bass, then come back on. And so for me, I can't do a show like that. I remember one of my favorite bands in the world was Ramones. They'd had one song, bang, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, start the next song right away. And I hate to see dead air. That's when bands are up there and nothing's happening, looking around or tuning or going putting another instrument on. No, I want to have that bass right there, end one song and start the next one right away. So the double neck helped with that because I could just jump to the other neck instead of having to go back and change basses, which was really good. In other bands, we did, again, dual tunings, regular standard tuning, and then also 5 or 6 string tuning with a low B. So to switch back and forth made it much easier for me than to set one bass down and go get another one.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
people say, well, why don't you play a 5 or 6 string? I don't like 5 string basses. It's odd to me. If I'm going to go to more strings, I go for a six. And I did use a 6 string on Just Take My Heart on the Lean
Hmm.
Into It record. And it's a wonderful Yamaha 6 strings, quite great. So, but yeah, the double neck is great. It's a riot to play, and that bass plays like a dream. It's just beautiful. Curly maple neck. It's rock solid. They did such an amazing job on it. And both those necks play just so great. It's a riot to play.
Hmm. And by the way, hip shot is your invention.
Say again?
Hip shot is your invention.
No, no, it came out. I was doing tuning down a lot. Like in Tallis, we were gonna do. I think it's Draw the Line, where it's and I would turn the tuning key down and do a quick
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, and then we were done. I'd start the next song. But that took a little time. Then sometimes you couldn't get it exactly in tune. So I saw in Guitar Player magazine, which was the only guitar magazine there was for many, many years, they came out with a hip shot. Musical like that. It's a low D, back to an E. Bang, no problem. So I put it on my original P bass, which is right there. This one's behind the 12 string neck. It's still on there on the headstock. Uh, as soon as they came out, I bought one. Now I'm good friends with the company now. A guy named Dave Borisoff invented it, and he just makes some other great gear and equipment, and he's a dear friend. So when we had the Yamaha Attitudes made, they all come with a detuner, which is very handy.
You mentioned a couple of names, but I want you to give me some personal memories of Pet Torpy. So, when did you guys meet?
We met on after the Skyscraper tour album was finished. Me and the keyboard player Brett Tuggle were going to go in the studio and sing all the background vocals again to put in a sampler. So we had to sing them a little faster because live the song was going to be faster. So we picked the tempo, and Brett brought along two of his friends, Pat Torpy, a great drummer at the time. I think he played with a lot of guys, the Knack, and a lot of people, and Dave Amato, who also now plays with REO Speedwagon. So it was the four of us there. We're going to sing all the harmonies from the Skyscraper record, sped up a little faster, and they're going to use it as like a fake tape background for Skyscraper tour, which I was against. I didn't like that. Sing it. If you're going to sing it for real. I can sing. Everybody, should be able to sing. I never used any backing tracks in any band I've ever been a part of, other than a Japanese band that I toured with briefly. That wasn't my decision. But so there was the four of us there, and I remember thinking to myself, because I was about to leave the David Lee Roth band anyway, looking at, well, Brett sings great, he's on keyboards. Pat, an amazing drummer, he sings, and Dave Amato sings too. The four of us should start a band. So it turns out that Brett stuck with David Lee Roth. Dave Amato went with REO Speedwagon. I got a hold of Pat Torpy and said, I got a great guitar player and I'm looking for a singer. You want to start a band? He said, yes. So we did. We got together and we decided to play together. And he and I had a very similar background growing up. We both did almost the same songs and copy bands and went through the same trial and tribulation of playing in a cover band and trying to make it big and all that. So, and we were the same age and we had a lot in common. So he really became my closest musician friend I've ever had, really, of anyone. And so we got together and I found the singer and then we started Mr. Big and had many great years together.
And then at the end of or when Mr. Big was starting to coming into an end, you have to hire Matt Starr, and then in the last tour Nick DeVirgilio. Can you compare those drummers?
Oh, they're both fantastic. Matt Starr came in while Pat was still alive, and Pat did percussion and still sang on a separate stage next to the drums. And Matt did a great job of doing it. He sings great also. He's a dear friend of mine. Then sadly we lost Pat. So we started up again. We needed a drummer that had a really great voice like Pat's. And Matt's a great singer, but doesn't have the range. He needs to have a higher range like Pat Torpy did for us to do the harmonies correctly in Mr. Big. So Paul found Nick DiVirgilio, and Nick's just got a great voice and plays a lot like Pat too. A very, very similar finesse, and just his timing is great, and really, really a great drummer and a wonderful guy. So we ended up using him on our farewell tour, and he did an amazing job. And We just it was an honor to have him on stage. And Matt Starr also. I just texted him today about another matter. He's still a dear friend.
Hmm. Um, well, we fans of Mr. Big are somehow aware that the last tour was really the last tour. Um, is there any possibility of you guys recording some new music any time in any future?
Nope,
No.
finito.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we I think it's good to put a period at the end of the sentence. We're done. And also we wanted to end on a good note.
Hmm. Hmm.
My toaster, when I toast my toast in the morning, at the end, when it's over, it says end hot. In other words, the toaster is end, it's toasted, but be careful, it's hot. And every time I see that, I go, that's what Mr. Big did. We end hot. And we didn't want to crawl over the finish line. We wanted to run over the finish line. And I think it would be unfair for us to ever play together again because we told everybody this is a farewell tour. Now, I know a lot of bands, they do a farewell tour and then they come back again. But for us, we really wanted to be fair because people flew in from all over the world to every show we did. They flew in from Australia and Japan and USA. When we were in Asia, people went over there. When we were in Europe, people came from all over the world to see us. And so I wouldn't want to be dishonest to them. And then we start playing again. And so that wasn't the farewell tour. So
Hmm.
it is
Hmm.
absolutely the farewell tour. That's it. I have nothing but high regard for everybody involved in that band. We're still all good friends, and I wish all of them well. And I'm sure we'll see each other here and there, but I think it was wise for us to just stop.
Hmm. Okay. Um, and what about your solo albums? Is there some new music from you coming in the future?
Oh yeah, a lot. I'm involved in a lot of projects. I just finished a record with Peter Criss, original Kiss number. I just played on a record with Carmine Appice and Eric Gales. Uh, I'm doing the Accept 50-year tribute anniversary record with some of the members of Accept as well.
Hmm.
I played 4 songs on that. I've got a solo record in the works and about 3 or 4 other projects too. It's a busy, busy time. That's why I apologize to your listeners. We had this interview scheduled many times, but there's so much going on. It's difficult for me to get a spare hour or so. So
That's totally fine.
I apologize for that. But yeah, it's a very, very busy time. Been writing a lot. I get up every day. I work out for about 3 hours on this bass, feed the cats, play bass, come up with new ideas. I put my iPhone next to me on selfie video and play the new parts for the new songs in there to get them later. And it's a busy, busy, busy time. So I'm very, very excited about doing a lot more playing and
Hmm.
singing and
So,
bass playing.
so approximately how many hours a day do you play?
Well, I'm here in this little studio here most all day, really. I get up and practice. My engineer comes in at 11. We have a coffee. We sit down and we start to do tracks. Since the pandemic, we've done over 600 songs here. Pretty amazing for clients all over the world, from every country in the world, pretty much. And so we get busy and we get all kinds of songs too, from crazy psychedelic insanity to country to death metal to heavy metal to straight up rock to pop and experimental
Hmm.
jazz, all kinds of things. So each day is an adventure. And it's good for me as a player because I have to figure out what to play on a track that I know nothing about sometimes, and I just got to figure it out. And we're very happy to say that when we send the track to the client, to the artist, they're just so pleased with it, and it makes us so happy. I really try to do my best for them, so
Hmm.
that they, when I discovered, though I suspected this for a long time, the real importance of bass in a record. Because so we would get a record from someone in some country, they'd send us files by email, and we'd listen to it and go, "Oh man, well, I'm not even sure where to start. It's just not together." And okay, so me and my engineer sit down. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's get a verse and a chord. Okay, go, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense now. Okay, and blah blah blah. And we'd end up with the song done. Listen down and go, oh, it works great. It's a song now. And not me and my playing I'm talking about, but I'm saying that bass done correctly for the right thing for the right song, it makes the song. It just brings everything together. Bass, drums, melodies, harmonies, vocals, guitars. When the bass is on there correctly, it really brings it together. It was such a satisfying thing for me to be playing all these different kinds of music for all kinds of artists and have them be pleased with it. And that was my goal, is I want them to be happy. I'm not here to do my thing. I want them to be pleased with what I do. And I'm happy to say we had no complaints about the music that we did. It's pretty good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Um, is there any kind of music you like the most playing, or which is closest to your heart?
I like it when there's some degree of improvisation within the body of the song. Straight up rock, but you can move around a little bit. You don't have to play it exactly like it is on the record. Sometimes there's a great beauty in playing it exactly right. We see in classical music, they've got to play those notes on that sheet exactly how they're supposed to be. And that's the challenge. Amazing. I'm so impressed that they can do that. For me, I'm more of an improvisational player. So I use the basic outline and then I do some things not far off from how it should be, but it gives me a little room to move. So generally, when I'm in a band that there's some room for improvisation, I'm very pleased with that. But there have been times I played in a band where I had to play exactly what is on the record, and that's enjoyable too because it's a real challenge. Hit it every night exactly perfect, and so it can go both ways. But I prefer having some improvisational room to move.
Do you have time to listen to music?
Oh yeah, I'm here in my studio. I have two computers. One is a recording computer, and the other is my iTunes collection computer. And I have well over 2 terabytes of music that is curated perfectly. All the album cover art, all the correct titles in the correct order. And I've spent years keeping that together. And at any given time, I can find some of the most amazing music. When I have people over, we have a glass of wine, we come down here, I play them, Beatles demos and Hendrix bootlegs and Van Halen bootlegs, AC/DC, Bon Scott before AC/DC, all these incredible things that there's few people have really heard. And we have a riot. So I listen a lot. And my music collection specializes in the greatest music ever and the worst music you could ever imagine. Complete, absolute catastrophes. And they're hilarious, but sometimes they're so bad they're good. And then also a lot of classical music and a lot of ethnic and world music and straight up rock, tons of 60s punk rock and garage rock, and whole collections of some artists, everything they ever did. So I can come down here any given time and just lose myself in great music and enjoy. At some point, I'd like to, if I can find a way to do it, post my collection and let everybody, if you want to download it, go right ahead. I must have about 50 Mr. Big bootlegs, about 20 David Lee Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile bootlegs of all kinds of bands. There was a store in Japan that sold bootlegs. Because they bootlegged our stuff, they let us come in and take whatever we wanted for free. So I got all these big armloads of incredible bootlegs of all these bands playing amazing stuff. So yeah, I listen a lot. I listen a real lot.
And is there any kind of music you don't like?
Dixieland. I don't like it. And I don't like a fake ass modern pop that's just designed to sell, with the drum machine and quantized and all the voices fixed with a pitch correction. It's not. It doesn't appeal to me. I do like some like electronic dance music and some. I loved Prodigy. I loved Fatboy Slim, things like that. Some cool stuff. Uh, cutting and pasting and putting music together like that. Interesting, but I still always will love a real band and a real singer. And I produced a young lady named Madam Mayhem a few years ago, and we did that whole record. We didn't fix one note of her voice. It was all real, and she hit everything. She was amazing. So that's the way it should be, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, back to your bass. I noticed I was in the front row last year in Bratislava in Slovakia during your Mr. Big tour, and
Yeah,
I noticed that there is a black cat hat on your attitude bass.
there you go.
Ah, is it a cat that exists, or is it some kind of
It,
imaginary
re-
cat? Or
I'm on my fifth and sixth black cat right now. So I've had many black cats, and I rescue black cats because people are sometimes mean and evil and hurt black cats because they think they're bad luck or evil. And so I always make sure to go extra and try to rescue and help a black cat. And I've had uh, Quasi, Monkey, Spooky, Rebel, and now Pistachio and Pepper, six black cats through the years. So this kind of represents all of them. And I've had an amazing time with these incredible cats. Our new cats, our last cat, Rebel, he passed away. He died of he got outside. They're not supposed to go outside. And I found him, it was only out there for 10 minutes, but he got a tick bite and he caught a bobcat fever. And we lost him, sadly. We were devastated. So I got home from tour, this last tour, and my wife went and found a brother and sister black cat, and we have them. I'd pick them up and show it to you now, but they're not here now. They're usually walking around. They're always around us. They're great cats. The boy is giant. He's about 16 pounds now. He's huge, and the female is small and shiny and most beautiful cat you ever saw. So yeah, I love black cats. I love all cats, but I've always taken special care for black cats because they have a hard time sometimes.
mm-hmm. So you are a proud cat person?
Oh yeah, yeah. I love all animals. I love dogs. I grew up with Newfoundlands. They're a giant dog. Our first Newfoundland was 185 pounds. Put his feet on my shoulders and looked me in the eye. Giant. So people thought it was a bear when I would walk him. Cars would pull over and say, "My kids want to see the bear." I go, "It's a dog." It's Newfoundland. So and I had a beagle and another dog when I was young, and like lots of animals, all kinds. We had ducks and geese and toads and snakes and minor birds and you name it. We had all kinds of animals growing up. But cats are easy for me because I travel a lot, and cats
Mm-hmm.
are okay if you leave for a while.
Yeah,
Dogs are a little
yeah.
more needy. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'll say my love to my black cat, which was,
yeah,
by the way, she was named Pepper back then, but then we changed her name to Nietzsche because she's a nihilist.
very good.
Yeah.
Now our
Um,
cats this time they already had names. So usually, and Rebel already had his name too. I wasn't, yeah, but Spooky before Rebel was when I first got her. She was always spooked. Like what the heck was that?
I see.
Became Spooky, and before that was Monkey because he was just like a little monkey crawling on everything. Before that was Quasi, which is baby talk for crazy because he was a nut. But the last three cats, their names came with them, so generally we would name them ourselves anyway.
I see. I see. We got our from the shelter. Yeah, so
Yeah, same here.
she was named Pepper back there.
I see.
Okay, Billy, the last question. So you survived. The last question. How do you relax?
Well, coming down and listening to my iTunes is a great thing. My wife and I, or if she's not in town, I come down here with a little glass of wine and start listening to some great songs. And sing along, and it's really wonderful. We live in a spot up on a hill and where there's woods around our home, and we're still close to the city of Nashville, but we have deer and turkeys and uh, possum and raccoon and all kinds of birds, and it's a very, very peaceful spot
Hmm.
here. But yeah, most, like I said, most things that I do are involved in music one way or the other. So I come down and listen to my iTunes and discover some tracks that on a record that I may have missed before, and but it's also I just sit down and play bass, and man, it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'm glad that I still have the burning desire to be better. So I'm always working on new things, more difficult, not necessarily faster, but more difficult fingerings and more complex, or sometimes even more simple ways of getting the tonality you need. So it's a beautiful thing to sit down and practice. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of things or wonder what am I going to do, or maybe I should get to work on some things around the house. I say, sit down and play bass. 2 or 3 hours later, man, am I glad I did. It's so great, a wonderful time. So it's mostly that.
Okay, Billy. So,
All right.
thank you very much for our conversation. Uh, I'm gonna stop the recording, but I will like to have 3 more minutes after the recording. So as for now, thank you very much for your time, and I'm wishing you all the best recording new music and probably touring with some other bands, some with Winery Dogs, probably, I don't know. And hopefully you will get enough ideas and enough time to record those ideas. Yeah, so
Great. Yes.
you're
Thank
the
you. Yeah.
best.
To all my friends in the Czech Republic, hope I get back there and play soon. I always enjoy playing there very much. Incredible food, incredible drinks. The young ladies are beautiful. The men are handsome, and the Czech Republic is awesome.
Thank you much, Billy. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you.